Hi, everyone, and welcome to Long and Foster Live. I am Chris Mayer, and I'm joined here today with Senior Vice President of Professional Development, Caitlin McKenna.
Hi, Chris. Thanks for having me today. I'm really
Yeah,
excited.
of course. Yeah, we're excited. And today's topic, we've got a fantastic guest coming up. But today's topic that he's going to talk about is coaching. And
Mhm.
coaching is one of those sort of enigmatic things I feel like that agents can tend to shy away from, but it's an extremely important part of an agent's growth
Yeah.
and building their business. And, Caitlin, be honest. When
Mhm.
you started in the business and started in real estate, did you just jump right into being coached and say, "Hey, I need that. I want that," or was there a little bit of reluctance?
I think I should answer yes.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I did not. I did not jump right into it. I did jump right into real estate, but I didn't jump right into formal coaching. And looking back with the hindsight I have now, that is one of my regrets, that wasn't one of the business planning pillars that I stood up right away. I had a fantastic manager who brought me into this business, and looking back, I wish I had approached and said, "Hey, let's formalize the coaching that you give me by this schedule or whatever." Um, Probably, honestly, out of a fear of being held accountable,
Yeah.
right? It's that accountability that I think sometimes gets in our own way.
Yeah, and you said a word that kind of leads into maybe some of the sort of level of confusion with coaching or sort of
Yeah.
misunderstanding with coaching. You got four things. You got your manager who you report to and is there to support you with making sure all your transactions are following all the rules and help you with those tricky situations in real estate. You've got maybe a mentor who's
Hmm.
there to kind of guide you through those transactions, not do them for you, but sort of guide you in those transactions and maybe, talk to a client if you need to, or talk to a co-op or something if you need them to step in. An accountability partner is kind of like what you mentioned, where you and that other person sort of talk to each other and hold each other accountable. Now, there's no true accountability there. It's really just kind of a handshake deal. And
Right.
then of course you have a coach.
Yep.
And the coach is meant to uh, not force you to do things, but they're going to push you to do things and hope that you do it. It's
Yeah.
leading the horse to water and you can't make him drink. I mean, when I played basketball, I had a shooting coach. And if I didn't practice my shot the way he showed me, it wouldn't
Mhm.
have worked.
Yeah. Well, and it's that, you know, practicing that skill set before you're in the situation, right? Because when you're in the situation, it's extremely important, but it's even more important to build that muscle memory before you're in the situation. Like if you think about a listing appointment, right?
Hmm.
Knowing what's in your listing presentation and being comfortable explaining it to different styles of maybe learners or different people in different scenarios that are selling their home. So I think for me, like that coaching is really important because it's practicing your craft and your skill set. And you're right, we use these terms interchangeably: coach, mentor, all of it. When it's really an environment for you to get comfortable being uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
It's in the discomfort where we grow and we excel and we move forward in our craft.
Yeah. And your coach may be all four of those things. Your manager may be your coach. I feel like agents often will put sort of like a formality on the
Mhm.
word coach and try to make it something it's not, or think that it is something that it is not. Um, and what we hear and get emails from all the time is these sort of professional coaching systems and
Yeah.
professional coaching programs, and that's a huge investment in time, in financially. And have you ever done one of those, Kaylin?
So I've actually never paid for a
Okay.
professional coach. I have really been coached more by establishing a relationship with someone that had an expertise greater than me.
Yeah.
And it came from like I was mentored by agents who had a lot of experience in my office. They were very kind, and I wanted to model what they were doing in the business. And so I asked, would you mind being someone that coaches me? Would you
Yeah.
mind being someone that you share your experience with? And I have questions, can I ask you? Um, so I've never paid for a coach.
Hmm.
I have really looked at my environment and said, who do I want to be like? What skill set does someone have that I would like? And I have approached them and instead said, hey, can we have some sort of information exchange or some type of mentor coach relationship? So that's really kind of how I've done it more in my
Yeah.
life. For those who know me, I'm not a very tall person, so I didn't have the benefit of playing basketball and having a basketball coach. Sports was not my thing. So for me, it was more about those people in my life that had a skill set that I wanted to emulate.
Yeah, now I like what you said because and again, we think of coaching, we think of that one person or that, but like you said, you could have a coach. But I'll bring it back to basketball. You could have a shooting coach. You could have a
Mhm.
defensive coach. You can have, I mean, it's like, and again, football, there's offensive coaches, defensive coaches, special teams coaches. There's specialized people. So you make a great point in saying that, yeah, there's that agent in my office that I need to talk to that is gets every single listing appointment, listing contract signed every
Yep.
time she goes out.
Hmm.
Well, I want that person to be my listing appointment coach.
Hmm.
So it doesn't have to be just one person that you're leaning on for everything. I like that sort of idea of seeking out the specialized person within your office and talk to your manager.
Yeah.
They will know the resources within your office and who to talk to, who holds a great open house, who does a buyer agency contract, the shows their value better than anybody else.
Hmm. 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 And really, when you come become a realtor, you're going through this journey of who am I as a realtor,
Of course.
and who am I as a real estate, professional? What is my business going to be like? And I think to your point, we can be coached on many different things in our
Yeah.
business and in our life, and developing your style is important,
Oh
right?
yeah.
Being able to say this is how, when you're sitting with a client, this is how we're going to operate, right? This is what you can expect from me. You can say that, this is why you should value me, but really you want to be able to demonstrate it. And so I think finding someone or something that helps you craft a style that is genuine to you and the business that you are going to be conducting is important, right? Because that style will it'll, permeate everything that you do in your business. And so, yeah, I love it. I've pulled from many inspirational places. I do wish, looking back on it, I did do some more formal coaching because I do think that would have helped me be more consistent, which
Yeah.
is the hardest thing we do as a realtor, is be
Of course.
consistent.
Yeah, it's what we talk about, or it's at least what I talk about in every class. It's the
Yeah.
consistency. It's always consistency. And it was something that I struggled with. I mean, consistency was always something I struggled with and the follow-up and all the tasks. But when you did have coaching, let's look at this from the agent perspective. What results should I expect, or what results did you see? I mean, it's probably not immediate. I'm sure there was a level of learning and all that, but kind of like what do you see as the importance of coaching?
Well, I think the first level of knowing the coaching is working is that you try new things, and while you're uncomfortable, you still do them and you get more confident. To me, confidence is the base of it, right? If
Yeah.
you can feel confident and be confident in your business, you can solve the transactional issues that come along that's the joy of real estate. No 2 days are the same. There's
Yeah.
different things that come along, but if you can um, really learn to be a student and really study this craft, you can be comfortable being uncomfortable and then getting more comfortable. So I think that confidence comes from, for me at least, developing a comfort level of understanding something. And then when you notice that your habits are consistent, that to me was a big, big okay, this is working. I'm being more consistent with the use of my time. I'm being more consistent in the communication with my clients. And then what happens is your results, which are the sales, the buyer agencies that are signed, the homes that go under contract, the listing agreements or listing appointments that you win, that translate into, listings and closed sales. That is when you start to see it. So I would say gaining confidence, being consistent, and then those results of closed sales becomes more consistent. So I think it's a staged approach, but starting with confidence is where I would, for me would be like, all right, I'm in the right place.
Yeah, and I think going along with that, the understanding that real estate is an industry where you're never going to have every answer.
Yeah.
It's you are constantly learning. It's something where you constantly have to be coached. So even as a new agent or as a experienced, tenured, veteran agent for 35 years, there's always something to be learned.
Mhm.
And, it's never too late to think about coaching and to try to get into coaching. I mean, again, you have amazing resources at Long and Foster between your managers, your admins, maybe there's a team leader, the agents in your office,
Mhm. Mhm.
some of the best in the business.
Yeah. And I would say, too, my recommendation would be don't be scared of the word accountability.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing to be around a group of people or someone else that also wants to be successful. That's really what coaching is. You're meeting with someone who wants to be successful and wants you to be successful, and you want them to be successful. So
Yeah.
why not do it?
Get involved.
Get involved. And what is it,
Be
Nike? Just do it.
Yeah. Be present in the office. That's one of the best things that I always tell agents. Again, no matter how long they've been in the business, just be present. Be present at the office. Be a part of the team. Be a part of the office experience. Well, Caitlin, it's time to get introduce our special guest here.
Okay.
So, our special guest, Jimmy Burgess, he began his career in the financial industry before transitioning into real estate, where he joined his family-owned business and was recognized by Florida Realtor magazine as one of its under 30 rising stars. After his company was sold, I went to form the Burgess real estate team in Santa Rosa Beach, Florida, on the Panhandle, and later joined Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Beach Properties of Florida, serving as the chief executive officer, the chief growth officer, and now the president. But most recently, named the chief coaching officer of our parent company, Berkshire Hathaway Home Services. So please welcome Jimmy Burgess. Jimmy, so welcome and thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate it. And love your enthusiasm. I've seen you speak now twice, and it's always great to hear from you. So welcome.
Well, Chris, I appreciate it. Listen, I think I appreciate all that you do as well. I mean, obviously, the amount of training that you do, the amount of things that you do for the agents, we do have a kindred spirit there. So I'm excited to be with you guys today because this is going to be fun just to kind of give a little background and understanding of kind of where we are and where we're headed. So super excited to be with you.
Well, we got a great team, so I'm thankful for that. So, Jimmy, so first off, Chief Coaching Officer, how'd you get involved with coaching?
Um, I think that if I look back on my career, I started in this business. This is where my part where I say, back in my day, like I've been doing this over half my life. I've been doing in this business 31 years. My mom was my first broker. And so that's that term they have used where I'm an SOB, son of broker.
Yep.
And I watched my mom as she would prepare with our little family owned brokerage. And there were 5 agents, including me and my brother. And she would prepare for sales meetings every single week, like she was speaking to 5,000 people. And the way she taught me and the way that she just kind of poured into all the agents, not just myself and my brother, that we had over the years I just watched it. And then she was one of the first people that said, hey, listen, if you're going to get better at anything, because I had played college golf and been involved in athletics my whole life. She said, you need, the same way you needed an athletic coach, you need someone that's going to guide you and be a coach for you in this business. So I got involved with coaching literally, I started in this business when I was 23 years old. And now I've had coaching ever since. And literally from almost the first year, within the first year, I had my first coach, and that started me down a path of just continuously learning and having accountability. And as I think some of the best coaches are the best students. It's the
Sure.
same thing as, the best teachers are typically the best students. I was obsessed with getting better at my craft. And as I did that, it just kind of naturally progressed from, because I was doing the things, people around me, other agents in the office and different places as my career progressed. And, after I moved away from the family-owned company that we sold, and then actually moved into, a little bit larger company, I had agents coming to me. So it was kind of a natural progression. It wasn't something that was necessarily always planned. It
Sure.
was just something that ended up kind of progressing based on the student I believe that I was.
Yeah. And that was something that Caitlin and I talked about earlier is just that desire to want to be coached and to want to learn and how important that is, especially in the real estate game because it is such a ever-changing and unique business where no transaction is sort of ever going to be the same. And I will say, Jimmy, I fully relate to that as a third generation
Yeah.
SOB. And basically, all of our dinner time conversation growing up was about agents or commission splits or what the heck are we gonna do, now. So
Yeah.
I could fully appreciate that.
And
Well,
Chris, it's another one of these things where it's like, I will never do this. And here we
Yeah.
are 30 years later without any hair, with been through the struggles, been through everything. And now here we are. And I can look back on that and just think, though, that that foundation was just so critical for me because it was a foundation of just really watching my mom where it was
Yeah.
focused on how do you service agents? How do you help agents get better? And I think that's really the foundation of everything we're doing. So,
Yeah, and another thing we talked about earlier was just being present and being
yeah.
in the office and being around the people that are successful, that are selling. And even if you are successful in selling, to pick up a little something extra, a little bit more.
Yeah,
mhm.
and listen, there is so much power in proximity, and I've watched that in my career as I've hit certain levels and plateaus. Sometimes my coaches had to change where I was learning a different set of skills, or I would grow into something additional. There were masterminds where I was around agents that were at similar levels or a little higher than I was that I would learn from. It's just, I think the involvement in the office, obviously the amount of training that you guys, I mean, it's the best in the industry, to be honest, as a company. And so hopefully I'm going to continue to supplement that on the national level. But it's something that I just believe if you want to there's only two things you could do. I mean, either you're maybe even getting a little uncomfortable, but maybe you're learning and growing, or you're coasting. And there's only one way to coast, and that is down.
Yeah.
And so you're
Mhm.
typically, if you're coasting, you're dying whether you realize it or not. And so I think that's what's so critically important about all of this is being able to utilize the opportunities that you guys provide on the local level, and hopefully that we're going to provide on the national level to really help agents and equip them to be the best version of themselves.
Well, that's perfect. And that kind of leads into my next question here, which is, what should we be looking forward to from home services as far as for 2026, 2027, and really what does your position look like as chief coaching officer?
Yeah, and that was one of those. It's kind of funny when we first started this. Actually, Chris Kelly, who's CEO and president for Home Service America, he and I would work closely together for a while. I had stepped away from home services for about 9 months, but he and we live in the same area. We were still walking every day, and when he took the helm, we were still discussing some of the things he was doing and the vision he had, and a lot of it lines up exactly, obviously, with what Long and Foster's always done, as far as having the complete real estate transaction. And when he started talking about this, man, I just got super excited. And he'd offered me a couple positions. I was like, look, I'm really happy, doing what I'm doing. I was coaching, I was speaking and doing some things and back selling actually. And he said, my birthday, we were walking, and he said, hey, I got a birthday present for you. Because I just told him, I said, look, my whole everything about me is that I just want to help agents do an extra deal. I just want to help agents get better at being able to serve their clients. And he said, I got a birthday present for you. He said, it's your dream job. I'm going to name you Chief Coaching Officer for Home Services of America to oversee home services companies, as well as the Berkshire Hathaway Franchise Network, and just basically lead the charge on what does this look like. And I said, what is a chief coach? I've never heard of that before. And he said, I just created it. We're gonna figure that out. And so we're still figuring that out. But let me give you some direction on some of the things that we're doing now and kind of what's to come.
That's
So
great.
we started immediately with the power of having a mastermind every single week. And what's great about this is that we've been able to identify agents from across our entire enterprise in different places that had specific skills that they were really good at. We began bringing those folks in and sharing those ideas openly. We also started with those Friday masterminds, having some of the industry's best leaders to come and speak to us. We've had everything from Lawrence Yun, obviously from the National Association of Realtors economist. David Childers will be on with you next week. We've had Jimmy Mackin and talking marketing. Jason Pantana talking about AI. So we're bringing the best ideas possible. And I believe my job really from that standpoint is to go out and find the best ideas. Listen, you shared some people with me. You shared some ideas with me that we've incorporated in this. We're bringing those ideas and then getting them out to everybody in real time. So typically, like when we're doing these masterminds, they're live every Friday. And when we're doing those masterminds, what we're doing is we're taking what's working right now, not what worked 6 months ago, not what worked even 3 months ago. And we have agents on that are talking about things that they did that worked last week, 2 weeks ago. And so it gives us that real-time ability. So we're going to continue to have the masterminds. We're also going to continue to build out as we go into the second half of this year. I've been charged with the rollout for our tech stack, which you guys will be hearing more about. But that's going to be something that obviously I know when I was up there with the managers and some of the agents, y'all have heard about this. So our training will be focused on getting everybody up to speed on that in conjunction with your training team. And then also we're going to be doing more masterminds on a smaller scale. In other words, we're going to be looking at towards the end of this year, taking and grouping agents that are certain levels in their production and grouping them with leaders and other agents or team leaders from other companies around the country in groups of 10 to 12, where there'll be idea sharing happening on a monthly basis, where you've got people that are actually doing this business the same way you are. So you'll not just have the ideas, but you'll have a sounding board to talk about some of the things you're there. So those are some of the things that we've got coming. Obviously, we're going to continue to do our best to equip the managers across all of the network so that they can serve the agents at a higher level as well. But those are a few things that you can be looking for over in the next few months as well.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful.
Wow. This
And Friday at noon, correct? If I'm not mistaken.
Correct. That's exactly right. Friday at noon Eastern. And there's also, if anybody wants to receive those updates on those emails, I know we've done that before, but if I need to send you a link, and we let everybody know what it's going to be on Mondays, as well as the video training that we've done that week and the previous week, we'll send out on Wednesday, and we go live on Friday. So if anybody wants to be a part of that, Chris, Caitlin, I'll get you all that link, and they can just sign up to receive those emails if they'd like. And it's going to tell you exactly what the topic is coming for that week, give you a heads up on what it is, and also they can go to the YouTube channel and see those backlog of those. If they just go to my YouTube channel, just look up Jimmy Burgess, go to the live tab, all of those are in there. It's also a playlist on the main page as well.
Fantastic. And we'll share that out after this. Um,
Can I take the next question,
yeah,
Diva?
of course, please.
Oh my
Get in here,
God. Wow.
Caitlin. Come on.
I
Yes.
know it's like real estate. You just got to jump in, right? So I'm looking forward to everything you just described. And Chris and I talked about this a little bit. Coaching and training are terms that we kind of use interchangeably in this business because it's a process, right? So coaching is sometimes difficult to admit that you need. What is the most common item you see agents needing coaching on? Where should we focus?
Yeah, I think, well, the biggest I see advantage of this, first off, is the group of people that you're around. From that standpoint, I'll just say most people don't need to be taught. They need to be reminded, especially if they're good agents and they're experienced agents. And so from that standpoint, the level of accountability that comes with a mastermind group or with a coach is something that really it's invaluable. I mean, think of it. I mean, obviously, I've been going to the gym for a while. I can go to the gym on my own. I know what to do. But if I got a trainer there that's coaching me up on what to do and how to do it, and I've paid them, so I'm going to show up because I don't want to disappoint them and I don't want to lose the money that I've invested. it gives us the capability to have that accountability layer that I think makes all the difference. That's why I'm constantly looking for this. I always, every single area of my life, I want more accountability. I want accountability physically. I want accountability financially. I want accountability relationally. And I especially want accountability in my business because it keeps me focused in on what's truly important and it keeps me working towards those things. So typically what holds people back is they think, oh, I don't necessarily need that. I will tell you, I do not know a single person that is involved coaching in any area of their life that they applied themselves to that coaching that it didn't get better. And so I think a lot of times it's just pride. We just think, oh, I'm good, I'm fine. Or maybe they view it as an expense when in reality, it's an investment that has a huge return as long as people apply themselves.
That's good. I agree. That's great. And do you find that sometimes people shy away because it's too structured? Like this is too rigid for me.
Yeah, I think some people is they don't like the structure side of it, and typically the people that shy away from that are the ones that need it the most. And so I think it's one of those where you've got to understand kind of who you are and understand your weaknesses. And there's power once you understand exactly an area that you need to improve on. And a lot of times the people that don't get coaching is they will say, I'm too busy. Well, in reality, they absolutely need somebody that's going to coach them on how to manage their schedule better. Or they'll say, I don't have the ability to spend that money. I'm just going to use that on outside coaching right now. Typically, that is an investment that will absolutely help that problem of not having enough money go away. So I just think it's a lot of times it's just people just they have different reasons, and typically the very reason they state is the reason why they need coaching all the more.
Excellent. And you mentioned accountability. It's we all need it. How do you
Right.
get the agent that might be reluctant to finally want to do it? It's not that they have to do it, that they want to do it.
Yeah, I think, Chris, mainly where that comes from is a lot of times, at least in my case, it's come from one of two places. Either they get sick and tired of being sick and tired, and they realize, hey, what I've been doing isn't working, which is a motivation in itself. And then there's somebody that says, there's another level to this, I bet. And they get around other people that are doing a little bit more. I don't know. I know in my career there were times where I would look around and I would see agents and I'd be like, how in the world are they doing more business than me? And in reality, a lot of times what it was is they had somebody coaching them on what they should be doing, keeping them structured and moving them forward. So I just think if there's people out there and they're trying to figure out, should I, the question is, it's the old question. Remember we used to say this, when should you hire an assistant? And it was probably yesterday. When should you use coaching? And when should you get yourself involved in a mastermind or absolutely have some coaching and some structure? It's probably yesterday because if you apply yourself, again, you're not going to see just the return of what you invest time-wise financially in that. You're going to see exponential growth if you're around the right people.
Excellent.
Absolutely. Surrounding yourself by the right people really does make the difference, right? It takes you to another level to getting comfortable being uncomfortable. And that's where that growth happens.
Yeah.
So when you're coaching an agent, what do you look for in an agent?
Yep. Oh, perfect. All right. I'm glad you asked this because this is the thing I've always said. If you're going to get the most out of coaching, you need three things. You need to be humble. And by humble, I don't mean that you aren't confident in what you do, but that you're humble enough to realize that you don't have all the answers and that there is something you can learn. So humble, hungry. And when I say hungry, it's not hungry financially. It's hungry to get better, hungry to serve more, hungry to put systems in place, hungry for what the future could be versus what the past has been. And then coachable, and I say coachable, that means if somebody tells you and you trust them to do something, then you absolutely get to a place where you take action on what they ask you to do. It's probably the best coaches are going to make you feel uncomfortable. They're going to ask you to do things that you don't really want to do. And if you've got the right coach and you trust them, take action on that because that's where the real change typically begins to happen. I had somebody tell me this years ago, and I apply this to coaches or people that I'm coaching personally. You have to have people around you that know you, K-N-O-W, you well enough that when they know you, N-O-U, you trust them. So in other words, I've had coaches that would say, Jimmy, No, I don't think you need to do that. And I'd be like, what are you talking about? This is absolutely, but I had the relationship and the trust and the relationship in a way that I knew that they were coming from a place to make me better. And so even when I didn't necessarily want to follow that, I was absolutely going to fall in line and do what was going to make me uncomfortable. And maybe it didn't necessarily make all the sense to me at that time, but I trusted that I had a leader and a coach who was experienced and that could guide me to the areas that I needed to go into. So humble, hungry, coachable, those are three things that I always look for. And typically this is the thing is I always tell that to agents before I begin to coach them. And when we have that first meeting, I'm evaluating those three areas. And if there's one that they aren't that they don't fall into there, I typically coach them at that point on, hey, this is a area I think that until you get this situated, it's probably going to be difficult for coaching for you. And I've always said that. What's the old Chinese? What is the proverb that when the student is ready, the teacher appears? I'm gonna tell you something. If you'll get yourself to a place where you're willing to be humble, hungry, and coachable, you'll be amazed at what will happen. And all of a sudden, your eyes will just be open to that mentor, coach, mastermind that's right there in front of you.
That's excellent. Well, Jimmy, we're getting ready to wrap up here. Two questions we like to ask, and these don't have to do anything with coaching. This could be anything. So first question, what do you find right now is the single most productive activity for a brand new agent to the business?
Yeah, I would say let me give a little bit of advice, and then I'm gonna give you an activity. Okay.
Sure.
The biggest thing is we talked about this a little earlier, is that there's power in proximity. So if
Hmm.
you're a brand new agent, either get involved in one of the new agent teaching and coaching programs that you guys have, or get yourself involved on a team. And one of the most effective things that newer agents can do is find something that you're good at. I'm gonna give you an example. We have, well, I'll give you this example. I had an intern that came to work with me to do my videography when he was in college. He started doing the videographer for me, and he decided he wanted to be an agent. And he had a talent with social media and with videography. He's 20 years old at that time, 21 years old. He said, if I want to be an agent, what can I do? I said, well, whatever talent it is, in your case, it's videography, it's social media, whatever it is that you can do, go offer to do that for top agents for free in exchange for being able to shadow them, to go to lunch with them, to ask them questions.
Sure.
Don't just ask for something without giving something in return. But what is it? So I've had agents that were new agents that I've given that suggestion to, and they were like, I'm pretty good at putting together mailers or putting together different things that I can do. They went to some of the agents and said, hey, why don't you let me organize this for you? I'll take care of getting it shipped out for you. I'll take care of some of the follow-up for you, whatever it is that I can do. In exchange, could I take you to lunch once a month? Could I have some time where I could go on a listing appointment with you and listen? But you have to lead with whatever it is that you're good at. And I promise you, if you got in this business, there's something that you're good at. Whatever that is, you could be a great writer. Offer to write 10 blog posts for somebody in exchange. Whatever it is, find a way that you can give value to agents. Because if you're a new agent, odds are when you come in the office, if you're spending enough time there and you're watching what's happening in the marketplace, you're going to find agents that you're like, you know what? I like the way he or she does the business. I could see myself. That's the kind of business I want. And when you find those people, find a way to give them value and then be willing to ask in exchange for the value that you just get time. And that time is going to be invaluable. I'll go back to what I mentioned before. Videographer who was working with me for 2 years. First off, be careful who you hire because now he's my son-in-law. I mean, you got to watch these guys. You know what I'm saying? But he came into the business. He was 2 years as an intern, and I watched him in the most effective way I'd seen anybody do it, give value to other agents in exchange for the ability just to be in there around them, to have that proximity to
Sure.
what was happening with them. And what happened is once he got going in the business, he already had a clear understanding of what it was he really wanted to do. And he had built relationships where those agents that were too busy, they sent him some of their people to help follow up with. They
Absolutely.
asked him to do certain things. It created an environment. And at 24 years old, he closed almost $30 million last year, 2 years into the business.
Wow.
You see, and a lot of people probably looked at that when he first started and said, why are you doing all that free stuff for all those people? They would pay you for that. But in reality, they would have paid him in pennies, and now he's getting $100 bills for that training that he received. So don't be afraid to, as we say down in the South a little bit, squat so that you can jump. In other words, humble yourself to be a servant to those others. And I promise you're going to learn some things that are going to give you the ability to take your business to a level a lot faster than if you try to figure it out on your own.
Excellent. And I can't agree with that anymore with being around and with top producing agents. And eventually, that turns into, like you said, them trusting them so much that they
Yes.
just will give them. The time is no longer needed. The activity is no longer needed from the intern. It's just here's free business or
Well,
some.
and then they grow into a place. I'll use that example with him. Now he doesn't do his own videography. He pays someone because his time is more valuable, even though it's a talent that he's
Exactly.
very good at.
Yeah.
And so I think with the new agents, the other thing I want to say one more thing, Chris, because I want to stress this. Some of the best training for new agents in the country is available through your company. Utilize what you have with Chris and his team and with the entire team on training you up. Show up. I've never seen anybody that shows out before they show up. And so make sure you're showing up for all the trainings. Make sure you're getting involved and going on the tours and being around the people and coordinating opportunities that you can assist those top agents. And those are the people that come through, not just get through the initial training as a new agent, but those are the people that thrive and move into a top producer position faster. It's based on the activities they're doing, not just for their own business, but to make sure that they're positioning themselves for future growth as well.
Excellent. And same question for experienced agents.
Yeah.
Right now, what should they be doing? What should they be
Yeah,
focusing
absolutely. Number one is don't ever say I didn't. We've never done it that way. You need to constantly be looking and understanding.
on? Yeah.
Look, the bottom line of this business is still the bottom line. The person who has the most real estate related conversations wins, but how we generate those conversations has drastically changed over the years. So if you're an experienced agent, odds are you don't need more leads. You just need to take more people to lunch. And so one of the things that I had an agent that I was coaching, she decided what she was going to do is instead of continuing to buy leads and trying to earn that trust over time, kissing so many frogs until she could find one prince, she decided that she was going to start taking her sphere of influence and also those past clients and inviting them to coffee or lunch. She decided she was going to do 3 of these a week at least. She did. She would just reach out to them and say, hey, it's been a little while. I'd love to see how you're doing. Could we catch up for coffee next week? Typically, they always said yes. She then would just ask them about their family, ask them about their life, build the relationship. And eventually, she would ask them if they were in business, if they had a job, if they had a charity they liked. She's like, what can I do to support you and whatever it is that they had a passion for? Ultimately, they would turn around and say, what can I do to help you in your business? And it
Yeah.
was just a natural conversation. That changed. Her business went up 40% the next year, and she spent less money and she focused on the relationship. So if you're an existing agent, odds are you don't need a bigger database. You just need to go deeper in the relationships with the people you have, and they'll absolutely help you take your business wide.
That's excellent. Jimmy, thank you. This was a wealth of information, a wealth of knowledge, and you're already on 2 times speed, so we'll slow it down, and this is great though. We really appreciate it.
Yeah,
Thank you,
absolutely. Let me
Jimmy,
say
for taking
this.
the time. And Chris, thank you for organizing everything, pulling it off. This is amazing to have such valuable one-on-one time with Jimmy. Thank you.
Yeah.
And let me say this, as I've spent time with Caitlin, with you, Chris, with you, with the leadership team, and at Long and Foster, with Patrick, I will tell you, I have never been more confident in my life that the best is truly yet to come for Long and Foster and Home Services of America. We are positioned, we are professional, we're equipped to serve you as agents in a way that I can't ever remember being in this position. So I cannot wait to be more active with your agents as well as just to see what's about to come. So again, I just truly believe with all my heart, the best is truly yet to come.
Yeah, and we're happy to have you uh, with us and guiding us through a lot of these things. And we are both truly excited for it as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
We'll have some fun along the way too.
a
Absolutely.
lot of fun. A lot of fun.
I like that. A
Yes.
lot of fun.
Yes.
Well, thank you. Have a great one.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Jimmy. Well, Kalen, Jimmy's always good. Would you agree?
Oh, yeah. Great and full of energy. Love
Yes.
it.
Yes, exactly. So, took a couple notes here, and one thing that struck me, and it's funny because we talked about my basketball coaching. My basketball coach would literally say constantly during
Mhm.
my 4 years of playing high school basketball, it was stay hungry, stay humble.
Yeah.
And he expected us to be coachable, obviously, because we were on the team, but stay hungry, stay humble, stay coachable. Yes, you have to be all three of those things to succeed in coaching and to succeed in improving, not just in real estate, just any part of your life. You have to be
Yeah.
hungry and a humble person, you know? Um, One other thing that I really liked that he said was never say you've never done it that way
Yeah.
because that is the world we live in. This is AI. This
Yeah.
is doing social media videos. This is moving technology forward or even not, and maybe not technology related. It's doing your business a little differently than you did before. And that's how, coaching can get you to that point of finally triggering in your brain to be able to say, "Oh yeah, I've never done this before, but it works for these people. Maybe I should give it a try." And it's coaching is about an evolution of yourself and an evolution of your business, and that just hit home for me. So I thought that was great,
Yeah.
great.
And you're not traveling this journey of learning on your own,
Right.
right? You have
Exactly.
someone to help you through that. And so you don't feel the weight of the world on your shoulders. I really took away about the relationship business, right?
Sure.
Like real estate is a relationship business where it takes that one-on-one knowing each other, but you have to deepen that relationship over time. And that's really what Jimmy was saying, right? When that agent who increased her business by 40% by going out having coffee and lunch with the people that know her, she deepened that relationship and activated her sphere of referrals because that person trusted her. They knew they when they referred someone, she was going to take care of the referred client. And it really is that building a relationship that you care about their business, they care about you, you're pouring into each other, which is the basis not only of coaching, but a business relationship. So I really love that. Go deep with the people you know and that know you because you will activate your sphere and the referrals. And look at the improvements that agent had on her business.
Yeah. And what can I do for you?
Yeah,
Client, consumer. What can I do for you? Not just, hey, when are you going to give me that referral? You
correct.
know, it's a way different model, and I like what he said. What charity are you involved with? What local organization are you involved with? How can I help you? That's great, great message.
I agree.
Well, folks, we did it. All right, that's it for today's coaching Long and Foster live. So join us next time for more wonderful content. So, Caitlin, thank you for joining today.
Well, Chris, thanks for having me. I'm getting as much out of these sessions probably as I hope our agents are too.
Yeah.
These are great conversations to have, and I appreciate you taking the time to make them happen.
Absolutely. Well, folks, see you next time. Thanks for joining.